All right, good afternoon. Superkickin' with Stephen fans, your favorite host, StephenA1181, right here to give you the lowdown with my friend Greg on what's happening with Backlash. We're just putting all of our focus on that today. We'll get caught up on all the news that's happening. Yes, there will be an NXT takeover next month in your house. And we saw some stuff that's going to happen for Double or Nothing. And we saw a new champion crowned in AEW. Miro is the new TNT champion. We'll get kind of caught up on all that next week. Got a couple things after this show. So just kind of giving you a quick WrestleMania Backlash predictions. It's so hard to say that together. So I'm just going to say Backlash. But Greg, how are you doing today? Welcome to the show and glad to have you back as always.
Hey, thanks for having me back, man. I'm enjoying it. It's a beautiful day out here in North Carolina. Yesterday, the indoor mask restrictions were lifted, so we're happy today. Actually went out to have breakfast this morning. Didn't have to run back to the house to get the mask because I always forget to do it. So it's and now I can get back in the gym, get my workout on, and now we don't have to wear a mask just to work out. So about to go get my swole back on because your boy been putting on plenty of pandemic weight. So I'm trying to take that back off now. But I'm gonna do it. I have to play basketball with a mask on.
That is true. Now, work-wise, will you still have to do a mask? You said you work at an airport?
Yeah, I work for American Airlines. So
do you still have to do a mask for that?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Or have they? Okay, yeah. I don't know when. Go ahead.
I was saying until the federal laws lifted against mask and air travel, sure stuff would have to do it. But hopefully not too much longer now. So turned in the corner big time.
Yeah, and here in Indiana, they lifted it, but it's still up to businesses, I think, if they want to do it or not. I know major chain-wise, Target, Walmart, or Target, Costco, or Target, somebody else. But anyways, Starbucks. So there's still some major chains that are going to do it. But yeah, as a school person, it's just so interesting to be in a classroom with kids with masks on, teachers with masks on. And, I think we've just done the best we can with it. It's funny when I take off my mask to eat something real quick, the kids always look at me and they're like, that's what you look like? Because, they just see this all day. So they don't really, it's kind of, it's a weird look, to see the full face. So, it's always, or when a kid takes off their mask, if they go outside, I always think, wow, that's what, I've never seen them without a mask, because they have to wear it when they come in and wear it when they leave. So, yeah, it's interesting. Like we said, I hope we're turning the corner because I'm heading to the Indy 500 later on this month. I bought a real life concert ticket in January. So it's like, I think things are getting back to normal. So, and then heading to the Wrestling Expo, it will be masked, but we could do a picture that will be maskless. And we'll take out the partition like in editing. So that's going to be kind of interesting. Yeah. So you'll get the picture a few days later because obviously they have to edit, hundreds of photos. So that'll be, kind of interesting to see how they edit it out and all that. But who's
going to be there?
So this one has Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, Kane, Jake the Snake Roberts, I believe Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Booker or Boogeyman in costume, Booker,
of course.
Booker T, maybe. I think Dustin Reynolds. I'm meeting officially Britt Baker. I purchased a picture session for her at 3:45. So I was like, I want one good professional because you could do selfies for like $40 at the tables with people. So I brought some cash with me just in case I wanted to grab that or autograph. Autographs, I don't know how you are anymore. With autographs, it's so tough because I don't have anything cool, any way to display them anymore. Like sometimes I open up a book and I'm like, oh, I got his autograph. Like I don't even remember. Like I have the WWE encyclopedia and there's like 3 or 4 autographs in there that I forget about because I just close up the book and then put it away. So like I like the pictures because I can put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, have it on my phone. So I always take pictures or live at night. And I always joke, I wish I could just get the picture autographed so I'd have the autograph on the picture. And I've seen some people do that, which is kind of cool. So
I'll tell you a cool
I'm a bit.
story.
How are you? you're kind of an autograph guy or not?
I was. I was all about the autographs, and by the time it faded out with the advent of the camera phone and being able to take pictures with him, that kind of changed for me too. But I still have a soft spot for autographs. Just going back to those first days when I became a pro wrestling fan as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And thing was is that I grew up in Raleigh, North Carolina, where Dorton Arena was, and that was in the heart of NWA territory. So at least once or twice a month, they would come to Dorton Arena and do a show. And this the Golden Age, the Horsemen and Magnum and all the guys, Dusty, Rock and Roll Express, Boogie Woogie Man, and so my dad worked at the fairgrounds where they would come, where the Dorton Arena was located, and so they come and have their matches, and then there's a convenience store about a mile down the road where they would go and get some beers before they roll out of town. And what my dad did was he knew the owners of that store, and he would buy a couple wrestling magazines for me and my little brother, give them to the owners, and they keep them under the checkout counter. And so when they came through, they would have them sign those magazines, and then we'd go to the store the next day and we get a wrestling magazine full of autographs. So that's a moment that I'll always take with me that's wrestling related, and reason I always love autographs. I don't know what those autographs now are, but
and yeah, that's the thing.
I wish
I like you
kept them.
I wish you did, because then like you said, you'd have them, and that's what I think that's the hardest thing. Like I have these autographs at times, and then I forget like where did I put them, or like bigger ones I might keep like in a cabinet so I know where they're always at. Now, have you done WrestleMania? Did you say yes, or did you say you've done WrestleMania?
Yeah, I did WrestleMania 33.
And did you access with it?
I did.
Yeah,
I did one access. I got some pictures. They had a good exhibit set up with the Undertaker's burial ground, all the because he was still undefeated at that time. So I got good pictures of there. I got Katie Burchill, if you remember her.
Okay. Yep.
There was some more. Zack Ryder, but I didn't want his picture. And then all over the city, they had those life-size wallpapers on everything. So I had
your picture with that
on those. Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's why I always tell people, I'm like, if you do WrestleMania, it's like you got to do one access. It just even for the exhibit stuff, I think it's pretty cool. And it sounds like with this whole treasure show, it sounds like they're working towards trying to build a physical like museum. And when that thing, whatever, I feel like they're going to go all out on that. And I think that's going to be like that'll be one of those things that fans have to see, because, they got that whole warehouse of every little thing that they got, the fist and the iconic shovels and chairs and Hell in a Cell stuff and all. Like, I think whenever they could finally break the ground on that thing, like, who knows, 5-6 years, like that thing might be a must-see destination. But we've done about 2 or 3 of the access sections. Last year we bought 34 in New Orleans. We did buy an like the VIP package, because we're like, well, we wanted to see, because I think that, that's like guaranteed getting something instead of waiting in line. Still wait in line. But I think it's cool accesses. And I saw AEW's doing a meet and greet, and I'll be interested to see how they pull that off and what people do there. But here we go. Let's just get right away into Backlash. Let's start with Damian Priest and The Miz, Lumberjack match. I'll go first. I think Damian Priest wins. I think, the Lumberjacks will have their way with The Miz, but I hope, and I know we've talked about this for the last few weeks, this should be kind of the ending of Damian Priest and The Miz. I think put Damian Priest in Money in the Bank next month, because I believe it's next month. And, even if he doesn't win, that gives him that next kind of step tier. So I predicted Damian Priest wins straight up. Maybe the Lumberjacks get involved, but Damian Priest wins, moves on to whatever step is next. So, Greg, how are you feeling about Damian Priest and The Miz?
I agree with you. I think this is finally the blow off. WrestleMania, he had to share the stage with Bad Bunny and, of course, get pretty much upstaged by Bad Bunny. And so, even though he was in that match, it was all about Bad Bunny. So now, this being WrestleMania Backlash, he gets to have the spotlight to himself. He gets to go over on Miz, clean, and then move on to the next thing. So finally writing an end to this chapter because I'm tired of seeing it. I don't know about you, but it's time to move him on to something bigger and better.
Yeah, and like I said, even if he does, obviously, I don't think he's winning the Money in the Bank, but put him in that spot. I love the days of the Money in the Bank when it's like those guys are just at that next level or could be at the bumped up. Even if they're lower level guys, it might bump them up to mid card or mid card guys head. So hopefully they cut. Last year I think we did the Money in the Bank was all former champions, and why I appreciated the theme to it. It's like, well, those guys are all been champions. Like, you don't need Money in the Bank for that. So hopefully they kind of go back to the guys that need that kind of next match. So right. SmackDown Tag Team Championship: Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode versus the Mysterio family. Greg, have at it first, and then I'll give my predictions on this one. I have a feeling I know which way we were both going, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, what you mentioned last week makes perfect sense, that there's some type of screw job finish where maybe the Dirty Dogs take a loss by DQ when they're seeing that they're over their heads, and maybe somebody uses a chair or something like that and gets themselves intentionally disqualified, so that the next pay-per-view, which if you're correct, happens over Father's Day weekend, would be the time and place to do the title change. So the Mysterios win by heelish circumstances, so they don't get the belts, and then it happens at the next pay-per-view.
Like I said, I think it just makes too much sense. I mean, like we said last night, they pulled the title change finally on Nia and Shayna. I don't know why they couldn't have done that at WrestleMania when, we had the 25,000 fans. I mean, especially since the crowd apparently wanted Tamina that night. I mean, I don't know why you waited, but congrats to Natty and Tamina. Tamina wins her first title ever. It kind of harkened back to the day when the Usos were introduced. Tamina laid out Natalya, which I didn't even remember because I didn't even care then about Tamina, and I really didn't care about the Usos at the time. But so I'll be interested to see what the tag teams for the women's side of things. But I'm going to say the Dirty Dogs win? Question mark. I know you're right. Like your idea, the Mysterios winning by DQ. I'm going to say that maybe the Dirty Dogs win, and maybe somehow Mysterio family get back in there next month. But I hope it falls on Father's Day. I thought that's what people were kind of pulling with on Twitter. So if it isn't, then the Mysterio family better win tomorrow night, because you might as well just pull the trigger on it. But I'm going to say the Dirty Dogs win. Let's kind of get to the women's title match for both Raw and SmackDown. Then we'll finish up with the men's, because I'm curious which way they might go as far as I feel like the main event is going to be the WWE Championship, just with all the the meat, the steak and potatoes in that thing. But you could pull the trigger on Roman Reigns and Cesaro, but it doesn't feel like that will go yet. So let's start with Bianca Belair, SmackDown Women's Champion, and Bayley. I love Bayley. This is all Bianca. I think Bayley gets in her shots, but I think Bianca wins. And then, like I said, I wonder if this coming Friday, so a week from Friday, if we see Sasha Banks back in there. I mean, we love triple threats, so why not do a Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Bianca Belair for next month? But I think Bianca Belair wins just straight up. I don't see many shenanigans in this, as far as Bayley, other than maybe Bayley, trying to do it. I still like my idea of maybe a hair versus hair down the road. They've been talking up the ponytail. I mean, I think Bayley could pull off a shaved head. I mean, it's pretty short now, but, who knows? So maybe she wants to do Molly Holly and give it a month and like kind of let it go. But I think we could see a gimmicky type match down the road. But I will say Bianca Belair wins. Greg, you going against grain or not?
Not definitely Team Belair on this one. I don't want to see a hair versus hair match. It's taken me so long just to get behind Bailey with black hair. The curl, the wavy thing she's doing right now is helping. But man, from seeing her from her NXT days to when she turned heel and went all black, and it's taken me so long just to reconcile that in my brain. I don't want to have to go through that whole process again with her with a bald head. So, yeah, I can see why the braid would be a cause of concern after what she did to Sasha. But I think it's going to be a nice, strong win for Bianca. Bailey would do Bailey things and heal it up, but it'll be a good one in the end. I still don't see Sasha popping back up yet. I think she will at some point, but I don't feel it in this one. And don't even put the triple threat idea out in the universe because they're going to take it. So I'm just going to say a good, clean win by Bianca, and she goes on to the next thing.
And and like Bailey said, she wrote it. Bailey had to do it though, just to really differentiate herself. So I give her a lot of credit for even because like we said, we know that ponytail. That was her look, like that. That's what she was known for. And you had the girls in the crowd rocking the side ponytail like her. And then to just, say, F it, I'm going to go heel. You know what? And I think she didn't show anybody backstage. Like she legit had that hood up the whole time because she did not want anybody to see it until she came out. So, I think it works. Like you said, I think I've gotten used to it on her. I think it's a nice. Now the 1 week when it looked like she stuck her finger in a electrical socket, that was a little like somebody forgot to put the conditioner on there or something. But that was a little frazzled. But and I love the serious, like Bianca bringing up, Yuga were getting taken out by the Bellas while I was main event. I think that was a nice touch because it's been so. It almost showed like Bailey's confident, but now there's that little chink in her armor. And that's the thing, too. If Bianca can beat her, you could keep having Bailey get knocked down a little bit and, have Bailey maybe get even more, heelish trying to get that title back. So let's go to the Raw Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley, the champion, versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair finagled herself into another triple threat. I will say, Greg, I want Rhea Ripley to pin Charlotte Flair, even though it still gives us Asuka and Rhea Ripley, which I think we don't need to go that route anymore. Hopefully, like we said, now that Nia and Shayna have lost, you put Shayna on SmackDown, you put Nia on Raw, or you put both of them on Raw and separate them. But, we do need some new. I feel like these three women are going to fight through the summer months unless Becky comes back. And then, Becky and Rhea Ripley, I think, would be your match to go for at SummerSlam. So I feel like we're still going to see some sort of, these three women going one-on-one against each other somehow. One woman's going to be in a Money in the Bank match. Maybe that leaves the other two free. But like we said, I feel like we're just going to get all three of these women still going at it. But I would love to see Rhea Ripley pin Charlotte. I don't think it happens, but Rhea Ripley will win this match and kind of move ahead. So, Greg, Rhea Ripley for the win as well for you?
Yeah. I'm going to say something I didn't think I'd ever say about a match involving Asuka. I hate this match. And you know me, Asuka is my hot Asian girlfriend. I have never said it about a match she's in. And I just hate this match all over because she has been just demystified all the way around as far as being able to. She hasn't been Asuka in a long time. And it was funny, she's been one of those help carry the pandemic right now. But the whole thing with the yelling in Japanese and the dancing and it's I'm ready to be done with it. It's so old and she needs to be reinvented and be NXT Asuka, the ass kicker Asuka, the one when she comes out, the whole crowd chants Asuka's gonna kill you because that's what she did. She was, and I still say she is the best female on the roster, skill set wise, the whole package, and anybody who wants to say different, come at me, bro, because I will defend Asuka to the death. But the way they've done her this over the last number of months has been terrible, and she needs to be, have that time away to, get her swagger back because I'm definitely not feeling her, and I hate to say that about her because I love her so much. Charlotte being thrown into the mix was just, haphazard and so lazy that it's killing the whole vibe of this match for me. Plus, here we have Rhea Ripley, who's a heel, but why is she so smiley and happy? I know it's supposed to be like a evil smile, maybe, but I'm not getting it. Has changed nothing to show that she's the same person, but now she's the heel side. There's nothing to differentiate who she was and who she is. So this whole match is wrong in my book. It's the one I'm looking forward to seeing the least, even though it has my favorite female in it. So it's very disturbing for me. I hope the match changes my mind, and so I'm just gonna go with my heart and hope Asuka does something to, reestablish herself as the top dog. But I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. But for the official record, I will go and say Asuka gets the win somehow.
All right, so she'll be the new women's champion coming out of this match for you.
Yeah, and then she gets a series of singles matches against Charlotte and Rhea, which until we get some new entrants into the fray is going to be the best thing because now you have two heels and Asuka. So it'd be make more sense for Asuka to have it and then get back to 5-star Asuka instead of 2.5-star Asuka, which is going right now. So maybe she does the Daniel Bryan thing and she just absorbs all those L's and comes back stronger and finds herself again, the mysterious the ass Asuka.
I'm really curious what Asuka's contract is. Like, I feel like she's been around for quite a bit of years. Like I keep wondering, like, has she resigned? Is this the what? Like, I wonder what will happen next with her because that could be pretty telling. Maybe she's just like in kind of retirement phase. She's just gonna ride off into the sunset, or I don't know. Like, I'm really interested to see what her. I wonder what this, what her phase next after this is. But I know she's trying the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I saw she's 39, which she definitely doesn't look it. But depending on how long she's been wrestling, which she started in her teens, which I think I saw that would put her almost 20 years in. So the wear and tear's got to kick in. And if I was her and this was the creative they give me, I don't know if I want to be around either. So that's why I hope that if she is up for a renewal, that she gets some assurances that we're going to let her be her and get back to that match quality that we used to see in NXT.
Mm-hmm. And Rhea Ripley, I feel like hasn't changed much, like you said, from her NXT days. I feel like the smile is more confidence. Maybe, just showing that, I'm going to kick your ass and smile about it. Like, you're just got to take it, that, because you got Charlotte playing that whole heel too. So I feel like we can't have Rhea be that heel because that's what Charlotte's doing. So it's tough. Like you said, it's kind of tough because they're just too much alike, And I still think the funniest thing is they bill Rhea Ripley as at 5'7". She does not. I mean, she looks like, and then she goes against Charlotte and she looks short. Like the 5'7" to me is very interesting. Like I'd love to stand next to her to see. I'm a short guy. I'm like 5'4". So if she towered over me, then I'll believe it. But I'm always curious about the 5'7" aspect of her height because she doesn't look that tall anyway. You know what I'm like? Especially when you have Nia and Charlotte like next to her. I mean, she looks small, but I think this will be interesting. Like, I wonder how the different styles will mesh together. And like you said, we'll be able to feel better about the match afterwards. Because right now, it just kind of, I don't know. Like, and I mean, the bad thing is we have to see all three of these keep going because there's no other women. I mean,
Right.
unless you throw like a feeder feud, like, Mandy Rose gets a title shot. Dana Brooke gets a fluky title shot. Like, there's nobody else. Like Naomi, it used to be up there, and now, they don't. It's like they don't even want to use Naomi for whatever reason. I mean, you throw with Lana, and I'll give Lana credit. I mean, she looks like she's getting better. She's trying. I mean, it looks like she wants to do it. So, but Lana's not believable in the title picture. So that's why I think Nia and Shayna almost need to be singles or be separate. And throw one of those women for the time being up there. So let's get on to the next one because, Raw Women's Championship is kind of right now. But
Right.
This is the one. So I think right now, Roman Reigns and Cesaro, I'm really interested to see. I mean, we all know Cesaro's not winning. I just hope there's not too many Usos involved. I feel like that we're going to get that. But will Jimmy Uso just turn the corner and heal it up? Will he, him and Jay try to, tag team it up? But Roman Reigns is obviously a winner. I don't have any doubts about that. But this is the coming out party, I think, for Cesaro. To put himself right there at the level that everybody wants to see him at. If he could step it up. I mean, hell, you could even throw Seth Rollins maybe as a X factor. Maybe Seth comes out there, and ruins it for Cesaro. So then we can save the Uso stuff for later. That promo last night was, I think that was the first quarter. Like that was almost first half hour of SmackDown, which was way too long for what it is. It felt like The Godfather or something. Like Roman's like, I got to clean this up for you guys, and whose side are you on? And all. I'm like, okay, I like Roman as a heel, but that was even like, okay. We're dragging this out too much. So, this is all Roman, but I am curious to see if Seth Rollins will throw himself in there, and then we'll get your favorite triple threat match next month. But, I feel like Seth is going to kind of find his way in there. Greg, what do you think? Do you think Seth find his way in there? Do you think the Usos find a way? Obviously, you're predicting Roman, correct?
Yeah, of course. Roman's going to
put words in your mouth. But,
yeah, right. I'm more interested in the undercurrent of what's happening with the Usos. I was in it for the first 15 minutes of that 30-minute soliloquy that was going on at the beginning of the show, where Jimmy's standing his ground and standing up to Roman. It was a good little piece of theater right there. And it's a nice little undercurrent to what's going on with this championship storyline. So either they're going to tie it up and have Jimmy take part in helping Roman keep the belt, or they won't. He'll pull Jay over to him so they become an entity to themselves, and then Seth is the one that pops up out of the woodwork and prevents Cesaro from winning. I think Seth getting involved would be better, just to keep Cesaro strong, so that he's not taking a pin, and we can revisit it in another month, another 2 months, because to get another clean shot at Roman, you're going to have to get rid of Seth first. So you could extend this to SummerSlam. So I think it would make more sense to do it that way. Then you have the dynamic of the Usos on this side and Roman on that side. You have Seth and Cesaro working theirs out, and that's going to take the next pay-per-view out of the running. And Roman's still retaining, but all these other subplots going on, and also getting a new challenger in the meantime. And then 2 months down the road, for the next biggest pay-per-view, we're getting the rematch. So Roman keeps the title by DQ after a strong match. You see some, good 20, 25-minute match where Cesaro kicks out of Roman's best moves and shows that, he's got it. He can actually hang with him. And he doesn't take a pinfall. Loses by nefarious circumstances, and that allows him to continue the storyline and keep building Cesaro up by beating Seth.
Could Cesaro actually win the title later this year? Even if it's a short run, do you see that happening at all?
I could, if once we get back to fans in the stands every week and he's still got that support, the way Kofi Mania caught fire or Daniel Bryan caught fire, definitely around the end of the year it could happen. So I could see it, but they need to keep strengthening the storyline, keep both of them strong, and just kind of do something they are not good with lately in the long-term storytelling, and build that showdown. And this one was kind of thrown together, but the seeds are in place, and now you take a few months to let them sprout. And that fan interaction is what's going to make it grow. The strong storytelling plus getting back in front of crowds and getting that support behind them, so that the people who are watching on TV are getting into it. They can feel that energy. The people who are in the building are feeling it, and that's what makes these guys. So, it's Cesaro's moment to sink or swim, and they're on the right course for it. So I like what they're doing, and I think that if they do this right, which shouldn't be that big of a stretch, get back in front of the crowds, give them, good beefy matchups and, strong matches, less distraction finishes, and give them time in the ring to tell the story, and it'll be gold at the end of the year.
And see, I was wondering if maybe we could even pull the trigger at SummerSlam with the fans there, even if he ran it through Hell in a Cell there in October. I mean, depending on how, if they do him like Kofi and just have Roman destroy him in a minute, was it worth it? But if they give him a good 2-3 month run and Roman destroys him, in a all-out Hell in a Cell match or some sort of gimmick, I think I'd be okay with that. I could say, well, you know what, Cesaro, you could take that off your checklist. Because I feel like Big E was kind of that guy we were seeing next, but I feel like Cesaro is that guy. I feel like Big E still needs some more time before he hits that level. And like I said, I think Big E probably not till about next year. This time next year, if we see Big E not in the title picture for the main titles, then something went wrong. But I think I would love to see Cesaro grab the title. Like I said, even a 2-3 month run and, getting beat strong in a defeat, I'd be like, okay, that stairs Cesaro, he got it. I don't know. I'll be curious. Like you said, I think if they could get all out fans at SummerSlam, you almost need to do it and just see what the crowd reacts to it. I mean, if they fall flat on their face, then you make him lose. You don't make him, but you lose the title that next week or so, and then you try to figure it out. Or, I don't know. It's like with Drew, like, he probably should have won it at Mania. And then even if Lashley beats him the next night, at least he got that moment. Because that's what, I'm like you said, I'm afraid that if the crowd support starts waning, I already saw Twitter kind of turning on Drew McIntyre. I don't want them to do that to Cesaro, but because he's obviously worked for it. I hate saying deserve it because people always get iffy about this, but he has earned it, and deserves it. So let's get to the final match. So I think the WWE Championship does close the night. It feels pretty big. Obviously, like they always joke, reinforce the ring. You got 3, hosses in this ring. Even though I would partly like this to be a 10-minute slugfest and be done with it. I feel like I'll go, 15, 16 minutes, 17 minutes. But Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman. I think Lashley pins Strowman. I think we still keep Lashley and Drew McIntyre kind of, for one-on-one. So I think Lashley does pin Strowman to keep the title. How about you, Greg? Where are you leaning to?
This is where I can see the title changing. But I see it as Braun pins Drew. They've been, strengthening Braun considerably lately. Mm-hmm. And apparently they's power slams are as strong as they were when he first debuted, and everybody's taking pins from him. So they're making a point to show that he can beat these guys with this move, even though nobody's pinned Lashley with that move yet. But I think that Braun's going to get it by, hitting Drew with that power slam, getting the win. Lashley gets to get it back from Braun. But he can always say, you didn't pin me, and then, that story writes itself. I think usually one championship changes hands, and I think this is the match is going to happen. Triple threat just makes the opportunity too juicy for them to stand pat. And with 2 triple threat matches on the card, I think one is going to result in the title change. And I think this is the one. So there's been taking L's lately, and I think one more isn't really going to hurt him that bad. But it keeps him in contender status. It furthers the storyline with these 3 interconnected, and since there's nobody in the queue ready to step up, it would make sense to keep it going with these 3. So the only way it makes sense is for Lashley to lose the title, but in the triple threat he doesn't have to take the pin, and we can put it on somebody else, and the only person that hasn't had it is Braun. So I'm going with Braun on this, so we can ease the story down the road a little bit more.
And do we see Mason T-Bar involved in this match? I was kind of feeling like they're the X factors as well. We didn't see them last week. I can't remember, but I feel like we might see them in this match. Do you think we see them?
It's possible. I think it's been a couple weeks since we've seen them, so it would be, out of sight, out of mind, and then they pop up, surprise, and that could be another thing. They wipe out whoever's in the ring and then just leave them for Braun to take the cover. So, kind of finger in the face of Lashley and Drew, because they've been beating with both of those guys. So, that could be another reason that Braun wins.
And I think you make the really great point that who's next? Like, I feel like it's like the Raw women's side. Like, these 3 men, they're probably going to have to face each other the next few months, until we decide. Like, I mean, the big money match out there is probably Lesnar and Lashley for SummerSlam. Right. I think you gotta get up to Canada and be like, hey, Brock, You know, let's do this because right now, you know, like I hate thinking that far. You know, well, we should think that far ahead with planning, but right now you got to think, well, what, you know, I don't want to see any of these three guys go again at SummerSlam, and I don't really want to see them in one-on-one matches. Like, you know, we've seen Lashley and Strowman, we've seen Lashley and McIntyre, we've seen McIntyre, you know, Strowman. I mean, like right now, you know, especially if they're going to get back with fans, like, you know, we've kind of rumored about, and then they're off touring again. You know, I think you want to make that show like you said. I'm surprised it didn't try to do some fans after WrestleMania. You know, even if it's, you know, 100 or 200, you know, something small. Like get some college kids are there at. I think they're at UFC or UCF. They're at Central Florida. So why not, you know, get some college kids down there and, you know, let them enjoy the matches. But, you know, if you're going to kick off SummerSlam as your official, okay, we're touring. Man, I don't know. Like right now, like I said, I feel like it's Lashley and Drew or Lashley and Lesnar. Like that should be the SummerSlam match. But I mean, you know, I just don't know. Like it's going to be the summer months, you know, usually the slow time. So it's like, but now I feel like if you want to build up to what you want SummerSlam to be, like maybe even almost bigger than Mania, you know, if you want all out fans there and if the restrictions, you know, now that states are really opening up, you know, you could get maybe 40, 50,000 fans in an outdoor stadium. Even I've heard Madison Square Garden's been rumored, and that would be cool just for the old school, you know, aesthetics of it. And not, you know, we think back to Royal Rumble 99, was it, or 98 or something like there, you know, like those Royal Rumble times, like, you know, and just the aesthetics of Madison Square Garden. And if you had, you know, even the full 20-some thousand fans there, I think that would be cool to see. Like, you know, but I feel like they're going to go bigger. I mean, if you did 25,000 for WrestleMania, you're probably going to, you know, if you want SummerSlam to be on that level, you're probably going to want to go that high or bigger. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see who's next because right now we don't know. Or we just keep throwing these guys at each other because your point about next in line is, I mean, maybe the Miz and Morrison break up and maybe Morrison goes after it this time instead of the Miz. But right after that, you know, AJ Styles is doing the tag team stuff. AJ would make sense because it's AJ, but he's doing tag team stuff. Maybe Kofi wants a title shot somehow, but you feel like you got New Day and Elias and Riker going at it. So that's kind of there. I don't know what other singles got. I mean, Damian Priest is probably too soon. I feel like he should be in the U.S. title. I guess we could revisit Riddle if they want, but then it's Riddle and Orton. So it's like, I don't know. Like, you know, I hate asking for Lesnar back, but at this point, it might be a, you know, hey, here's the Brinks truck, Lesnar. Like, what else do you want? Like, do you want a title run? Okay. Like, I mean, what else is there? So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting time for summer months for WWE and, you know, trying to maybe get on the road to getting back to in person. So, we'll get caught up on AEW. I would love to hear next week about your thoughts on Miro. I did not see that coming at all. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what they do with Miro next. You know, with Kip Sabian involved and all this. So we'll get back to all the, you know, NXT, AEW, Raw, SmackDown talk. Just wanted to come on here, get you a good, you know, quick 45 minutes of predictions. Into Superkickin It with Stephen Page, we have Rafael Esperanza with his betting. In case you want to lay some odds down, me and Greg are all the same except on the Raw Women's and the WWE Championship. So we're going to go different ways on that. But if you want to follow our leads, go at it. If you want to catch Rafael Esperanza, check there in the Superkickin It with Stephen Page for all the odds there. Greg, any final thoughts before we head off into the sunset?
No, hopefully we have some juicy stuff to talk about next week. This time, keep my fingers crossed that this is a great card, and I'm looking forward to some good stories from this convention you're going to. So, got to represent for the fam out here.
Exactly. We will do that. So thank you for watching. Join us next week at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Superkickin with Stephen and our lovely guest host right here, Greg. Thank you for watching, and keep it up and keep subscribing and all that good stuff.